So right now we're going to do something really fun. It's called Ignite Talks. These are 5-minute talks per speaker, and we auto-advance their slides. They have zero control. Oh, excellent. So we're going to call them up one at a time, and when I blow this whistle, their time is going to start. All right, and first we got Ken. Whoa. I did say Ken, didn't I?
Hello and welcome to my lightning talk today. Do you know where secrets are? Exploring the problem, sprawl, and secret management maturity. It took me 15 seconds to read that whole thing, but I'm so glad to be back in Birmingham. It's only my third time here in my adult life. But if you just do this, you can ignore the rest of this talk. Don't let your credentials leak. Just stop leaking passwords out there. If you can do that, we're going to be on the same page. It's going to be awesome. I'm Dwayne. I am from Chicago, and I'm a little bit ahead of my slides. And apparently, I didn't format them at all properly. Check out the Security Repo podcast. I work in security. I work for a company called GitGuardian. We do all sorts of awesome stuff, secrets detection, remediation. We write reports, public GitHub monitoring, because things like this happen every day. Who has ever had to rotate 5,000 keys in one day? Yeah, Cloudflare. Thanks to attackers getting credentials, then getting into from Okta, and then breaking into systems, they had to rotate all their keys because they did it wrong. Attackers follow a pretty set path. I'm not saying they learned from MITRE, but MITRE wrote down what they were doing consistently. And if you've never seen this attack framework, there's a whole lot of it. But the lateral movement and credential access are in that order for a reason, because that's how they get lateral movement, is they keep going over there. That's how many secrets we found out on GitHub last year, 12.778 million, that were just added in the year 2023, just in public. 3 million, that's a 3 I cut off there, again, formatting. 3.6 were unique. 7 out of every 1,000 committers has done this. Worse yet, when you talk to IT leads, 507 of the people that wrote us back, 27% said, we're relying on manual code reviews to fix this, while 75% of them said they had a leak. See how there's a difference? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. If you ask Google, how do I fix this as a developer, this is my favorite Google developer document of all time. That's the entire thing. It fits on that screenshot. Just change your app. Just redesign your app. Don't include them. Thanks, Google. That's the best advice ever. I think there's a little bit more to it. I think we can build upon these pillars, because everything we do really needs to have the right people involved, learning the right things to use the right tools. People, processes, and tools are the triad that we have to establish and build upon. So based on that, we built this thing called the Secrets Management Maturity Model. It's a mouthful to say, SMMM, as I like to say, and it cut off one of my things. That's fine. Developer environment, source code management, CI/CD pipelines, and production. Those are the things we're looking at, those areas. And we see it as this, trend upward, and if you are doing everything exactly right, you're at the very tippy top. We know very few companies doing it that well, and no very large companies doing it that well, because, well, they're legacy companies that keep acquiring other code bases. And I asked ChatGPT to build me a treasure map, and it has no idea what north is, apparently. So that's what I want you to use the rest of this talk as. This is just a general treasure map. These slides are available online. There's a longer version of this talk online, and you can go read the report and use this as a map to go from, hey, I started this project on my local with no security in mind. Hooray, you started the project. Let's celebrate that together. But you also didn't do anything around security, so don't do that in production. If you don't do that in production, you're already on a good path, because you should be here if you were just starting to share this around off of your machine to other people in the room. Like, all right, they're unencrypted config files, but it's just for local dev. You're going to run it on your machine and your Docker images, and everybody's happy. And you didn't even think to scope your environment variables yet. But at level 2, now we're going to get this thing to production. So we got to start using vaults and secret managers, and we got to start thinking in scoping terms, and we got to start thinking principle of least privilege, and we got to start loading in those secrets dynamically. And we got to start scanning over on the developer side to stop ourselves from putting secrets in. At the level 3, this is where it gets really good, because we start scheduling secrets for rotation, not just doing it reactively, and we're scanning pre-commit, using pre-commit and pre-push to find and stop ourselves. And here is like the goal where we're going to. And I know this is a lot of information, this is the word wall for a 5-minute talk. But again, this is all available free. You don't have to give us your email. Just download this thing and start thinking about where can we go. Get rid of all the credentials you possibly can. use OpenID Connect wherever humanly possible. In fact, again, it's cut off the bottom, but use vaults, eliminate longer-lived credentials, eliminate all the credentials if you can, that's awesome. Rotate things automatically and often, scope things as close as you can, and have a clear remediation path that you have practiced. Because if you don't practice it, you're never gonna be able to do it. This is a tool I built, the Secret Management Guide. Go to it again, we don't even ask for an email, you can just use it to see where am I on this map, where should I be, we're using SOPs, SOPs is awesome, who uses SOPs? That's terrifying. All right, so make a plan, it's gonna take a while, this is a journey. That's a journey with roadmap, that's a Russian stamp I found online. But take your time, this is gonna be a long process. And remember Tiny Jacques' law, we will never have the staff, budget, or time to do all the security stuff we wanna do. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dwayne. Sorry I called you Ken. All right, Justin, you ready?
I think. Is my mic working? There we go. Great. Tough act to follow. That was awesome. Hi, this is DevOps 12-Factor and Platform Engineering. Like the last talk, this is a condensed version of what's a much longer talk that I've given on this subject, but this is the third time I think I've done this in an Ignite format. So we're going to talk a little about the history of DevOps, where it came from, and how we can use 12-Factor to improve our apps. I'm Justin Reock. I'm head of DevRel for Cortex. Previous, I was field CTO at Gradle. Spent the last 10 years probably working mostly on developer experience type of stuff, which has, of course, evolved into the platform engineering and DevX studies that we have today. So where did DevOps come from? I don't think it was here. I don't think it was 2009 when Patrick Dubois first coined the term. I think that DevOps started as a mindset much earlier than this. And I think that it started with this mindset, that it's no longer the big beating the small, but the fast beating the slow, all right? It's the agile organizations that can react quickly to the needs of the market that are winning, right? It's not the big metal, and this began with what I like to call the ancient business wisdom of the 1970s and 80s, with the work of W. Edwards, Ed Deming, and of course, Ellie Goldratt and the goal and the theory of constraints. All right? And what was the theory of constraints? It said that a business can only run as well as its constraints. Now, if you're not familiar with those books, you probably are familiar with this. Literally the same book. This is the goal, right? Rewritten from the perspective of a software organization. And it will introduce you to the theory of constraints and how you can use the laws of physics to predict how your business is going to work. It basically boils everything down to this, that any machine is made of throughput, inventory, and cost. Those are the three components, all right? And what we have to do is focus on throughput, right? We have to decrease the time between code on keyboard and money being made in the market. And we also must constantly be improving something, and it doesn't really matter what we're continuously improving, but we're always fighting entropy, right? That's why, right? So these theories, we can use physics to create a throughput-driven organization, because the only initiatives that actually positively impact long-term performance for a business are the ones that increase throughput while simultaneously decreasing cost. This is not a cost-cutting story with DevX. This is not about waste. This is about profitability. It's about this. It's about this constantly moving forward continuum that is the DevOps continuum, right? That's why we can't reverse anymore. That's why we don't walk USB sticks down to another business, part of the business to go and do our testing. And so now we have this. This is where it's all taken us, right? This horrifying landscape of Cambrian explosion of open source technologies. And we're supposed to pick some permutation of this and make it a platform. So how has this changed the way that we have to write software, right? Well, to take advantage of these platforms, to take advantage of all this ultra portability, we can't write code the way that we've been writing it in the past. Right? We have to think about how our code can stay ultra portable. Anyone familiar with the 12-factor framework? This is the best framework for making sure that your apps will move reliably to a cloud and even multi-cloud type of environment, right? Now, I'm not saying that if you don't do 12-factor that your cloud migration will fail, but there is an inverse relationship between how 12-factor your app is and how much friction you'll experience when you actually go to cloud. More 12-factor, less friction. All right? We focus on these types of principles, and it makes our stuff better, right? We're great, right? Everything's good now, right? We totally just, decomposed everything into microservices, and it's totally simplified our cloud deployments. That's why we're all here, because the work is so easy, right? No. All of this freedom and portability, which is important, has led to more complexity and disorganization. in the developer experience, which leads to more toil, friction, and context switching. Right? These are the enemies of DevOps. And this is the state of the art. We've taken all these microservices and mini services and whatnot, we manage them with spreadsheets and Confluence and lagging systems of record. And it's horrible. We don't know who owns what service. If someone leaves the company, there's no continuity for that service. Really?
I thought you were going to introduce me. Okay, I'll go.
All right. Oh, yeah, I got to do this.
Hello, everyone. I'm Demethria. And last year, I got my 17-year-old bathroom renovated. I also read The Phoenix Project, the novel about IT and DevOps, and it really explained the DevOps 3 ways quite well. And I found the concepts in the book to be really applicable to my bathroom reno. For example, the first way was all about fast flow from left to right by minimizing work in progress and minimizing handoffs. And that really applied to my bathroom reno. One team brought in to do the work on my bathroom. They were able to demo the walls, level the floor, and actually put down the floor in record time. But do you see what I see? The door transitions. So they were able to do my laundry room that was on one side and my bathroom that was on the other, but they connect. But the door transitions were off. So I notified the contractor, gave him the feedback, and they were able to resolve my issue and make the necessary correction, all because I provided the feedback. Which really brings me to the second way. The importance of feedback, amplifying that feedback loop so you can surface issues and concerns earlier in the process versus later in the process, which was really important to me throughout my whole bathroom reno, especially when it came to my shower. Far away, shower looks great. Up close, not so great. Really, I chose the wrong tile. That was the issue. Needed straighter lines, did not like the jagged edges. And once the contractors had actually done all the bathroom or done the shower, I sat on the bathroom floor that night looking, and it really made me sad. I was not happy with the way that it looked, not happy the outcome did not meet my expectations, so I told the contractor, and we came up with a new plan. Our plan was just do it over. So let's just do it over. Now, I had to go through a little demo again, but that was okay. And I was fortunate that this agile process allowed us to be able to do a redesign and then address everything so quickly. And I will say that Take 2 made me happy. It brought me joy. Who knew that that herringbone layout, along with that brick pattern, who knew how much joy that would bring me? But it really made me happy. So, with that done, all I could think is we're almost done. My shower's pretty much in, my floor's done. We just have a few more things to wrap up, install the toilet, the vanity, accessories, then we'll all be done. But little did I know that changing my design introduced some additional dependencies. So with Take 1, my shower niche and the shower curb were going to be the same as the actual towels. But in Take 2, I decided to use the countertop of my vanity. Doesn't mean much to you, but to me that meant my vanity needed to be installed first before we can do the measurements. And I'm thinking, couldn't possibly have any issues. Absolutely wrong. You see that it doesn't look right, but that's okay. I informed the contractor again, and we were able to get it fixed. We found the one person who could right that wrong and retrofitted the vanity to fit the space. And with the vanity in, now we could get the measurements of the vanity top, and then go out long and do the niche and the shower curb. So there we go. Vanity top in, we're able to get the shower curb done as well as install the niche. So now we are rocking and rolling. And with that done, I was able to get the shower door measured as well, but it would take about a week before the shower door could be installed. So in the meantime, we got the accessories installed in the shower, got the faucet installed, as well as got the knobs on the vanity counter, on the vanity installed, and the toilet installed. So no more running up and downstairs to the bathroom. We also have the paint touched up. And if you see what I see, you see that the paint does not match. Another glitch. Even my bathroom thought that was funny. That's where the hook we put on the back of the door, it was smiling at all the little challenges that we've had along the way. But in the end, I was really pleased with the outcome. I loved my after picture much more than my before picture. And I did love the outlook of my overall bathroom, which really brings us to the third way, which is just about continuously experimenting and learning from your mistakes and putting processes in place so that you can not make the same errors twice. And every oops, uh-oh, that was a learning for me. In some cases, a learning for the contractor. And one big lesson that I learned is that if contractors mess it up, they can fix it. So if you're not happy with your outcome, let them know so they can make the necessary correction. And then in terms of the DevOps 3 ways, is that these are processes and concepts that really can be applied to improve all workflows, both non-technical and technical workflows. Thank you.
Thank you, Demetria. Thank you, Demetria. Sorry about the lack of intro. All right, we have Dan next. Are you ready? Okay, come on.
Hi, everybody. This is not mine.
No, those are my last 3 slides. Sorry. Come to IDPCon. New York.
Hey, here we go. Drawing Insights, Software Development Lessons from XKCD, a webcomic of romance, sarcasm, math, and language with a permissive license by me, Dan Cook. Great to see y'all again. How you guys doing out here in DevOps Days Birmingham? All right. So, who here is familiar with XKCD? Excellent, that's what I expected. We'll break down the anatomy of my slides real quick. There's a really funny picture in the center. It's what we're all here for. There's a comment up on top to remind me what I'm supposed to say, and the really cool license that allows me to do it, and how to connect with me, which is kind of possibly visible there. The main lesson from this is you need to pay attention to the fine print. It's in licenses like this that allow us to do cool presentations like this, but it's also in our coding contracts that we have and our real contracts. These comics can also be incredibly educational, so sing it with me, folks. When a grid's misaligned with another behind, that's amore. Who didn't expect to sing today, but we'll never forget that. Unfortunately, making good code still remains elusive even though we have comics. That's fine though, because we deal with a socio-technical domain, and there's a whole lot of stuff that you can learn on that socio side rather than that technical side. One of them is emotions are a roller coaster and not so much fun. This is Randall Monroe, the author of XKCD, describing how he's dealing with his wife going through cancer. She's fine now from everything that I've read, but it's a very traumatic experience going through that. And as developers, even when we're not dealing with family members having cancer, it can still be really lonely. When you are that only other person on the internet with that problem, it's really just a lot of despair going on there. And the best thing you can do is actually share these experiences. Maybe take some notes on it from a previous talk, but share those experiences, talk with other people, and let them know what you're going through. It'll help you feel better, and it'll help them, hopefully have some guidance as well. And we need to remember, it's not so long ago that we didn't know the answer. You get to be today's one of lucky 10,000 for whatever it is you want to be. And also just encourage other people and celebrate when they're today's lucky 10,000, because it is so much more fun. Between sharing our experiences and celebrating when people are learning rather than mocking them for not knowing something, I think we can do a lot as a community to get rid of imposter syndrome that we have to deal with so much. So celebrate when people learn new things. Because we're not here for the nerd cred. There is always going to be someone who knows another VI command that you do not. So, yep, there's that laughter, you all know it. So focus on the more important things. And what's really critical is the business problems. It's why we're here. It's not the bright, shiny object. It's not learning the new tool, but it's actually solving people's problems and creating the value that we're looking for. Yep. And so, the key here is don't go for the bright, shiny objects. Go and solve the business problems. Tech is often seen as a cost center when we should be seen as a profit center. Yeah, we need to go and make that difference. We need to show that we are profit centers, not cost centers. Now, we also need to be prepared for things to change. This was published in 2014, and all of our phones can identify a bird at this point. Some of these technical things are going to go and rapidly change, or not. But the social side is going to be really consistent overall. the core insight of the Mythical Man Month is still true. You're not going to be able to read that book in half the time by buying 2 copies. Someone's read the book. There we go. So, we need to be prepared for both those things that are changing all the time, but all those things that are staying the same too. And this is something that's changed for me. This is the first XKCD comic that I ever saw. And I thought I was so cool because I had just learned about SQL injection, and I got it. I knew what was going on. I felt special. But over the years, how I look at this comic has changed. Because I realized there's no developers in this comic. And that's kind of a problem. There is a mother torturing a school administrator, and the dev who allowed that to happen has no idea. That's kind of a problem. And so we need to remember to have empathy for our users, the folks who work with us, and also ourselves. Now, I've laid a lot of heavy things on us here in this talk, but I'd like to leave on a rather optimistic note, because there's something that's really cool. We get to decide what it means to be a software engineer now. And once upon a time, software engineers were the folks that you left off in the dark corner, didn't talk to them. We can change that, and I see fun group of folks here today that's ready to make that. So once again, I want to leave you with these words of wisdom from Ken Peck. No matter the circumstances, you can always improve. You can always start improving with yourself. You can always start improving today. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we got Aleksandra, our last Ignite talk. Are you ready?
Yes. Thank you. Okay, hi, I'm Aleksandra Lemańska, I'm Alex, and I came here all the way from Poland. God, that's good, I can speak fast. 5 minutes. Okay, I am a former violinist, turned management engineer, turned a person who is taking care of others, leaders, and tech teams. And it appears that there is an algorithm for people. And you are tech people, so I think that it's a relief that there is an algorithm how to deal with people. And I brought you the PCM in here for saving some time. 17 hours is a number of hours that we, as people, per week are wasting for the inefficient communication, clarifying communication. Who in here could use extra 17 hours per week? Come on, whoa, work. And when it comes to the money, if you're more about the money, there's a huge amount of money that we're losing. Ineffective communication, ineffective collaboration, just hating working with each other. So the key thing here is what we can do to get it back. And what I do on a daily basis is working with process communication models. So this is the PCM, as we mentioned before, the 3-letter acronyms. This is here another one for you to use. And I do believe that we can use the time better. And what NASA has to do with the process communication model. Back in late 70s or so, NASA started to send over to the space a lot of teams. And a lot of missions failed. And they failed not because the people weren't prepared, weren't experts in their area, subject matter experts, highly qualified people. They failed because they couldn't communicate, they couldn't get along. And it was interesting that it is not about the skill set. It was about the social skills. They brought Toby Geller, who is the father of transaction analysis and process communication model, to see how we can fix it. And Toby spent 15 minutes talking with every single person. And after the talk, he gave NASA information. Okay, he is going to get along with him. He and him, they are going to kill each other in space, and we cannot afford it. Totally, millions of dollars. And how? We can understand each other better. We have 6 types of personality bases in PCM. So we are all everything, but we have a dominant perception that we're using, and we are dominant personality type in us. So thinkers, data, logic, facts, things need to make sense. Obviously more of people than myself, of course, that are in the room in here. Persisters, opinions, values, trust. This is something they operate within. Promoters, okay, no more talking, let's do things. And we are not going to talk anymore. Rebels, yay, amazing idea, okay, let's have some fun. Okay, so the people between creativity, fun, and get in contact with others. Harmonizers, empathy, emotions, harmony when it comes to the relationships, takes care of people, organizing birthday presents. And imaginers, reflecting, sitting outside of everybody. Like most of you on your computers, I'm not going to talk to anyone, I'm just on my own, and that's perfectly fine. And the key thing here is to recognize what is dominant perception, what is dominant type, and tailor the communication to that, because it is crucial that we understand that in the communication process, in the collaboration process, if you're leaders, if you are part of teams, how to be a great leader or how to be a great team member, it's important from the tech perspective as well, because if we work together better, we can build better products, we can be more mindful about what is happening with us and for us. And in the communication process and leadership process, team building process, we need to remember that it is not about us in the communication process. It is about them. If I prefer something when it comes to communication, it doesn't really matter that other people does as well. And it was interesting when I was discovering that, because it's not about me, it's about them. They need to have that communication process that's going to be fit for them. And understanding this is a groundbreaking thing when it comes to getting those 17 hours back. So if I can leave you with one thing after this talk, please be more mindful about it. And if you can get those 17 hours per week back, I can tell that we can all use it. Thank you for today. If you want more, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm there, and we can talk over the details afterwards. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to all our Ignite speakers.